Yes, boys, episode 1 of insert gaining phase YouTube series name. Yet to figure out what I want to call this, but ChatGPT will be coming to my rescue. It woke up this morning, 175 pounds, and that was the goal for this diet phase. Originally, I was meant to diet through today and tomorrow, just to keep appetite firing and sort of marinating that phase or like a period of time where I really need my food and stuff. But with blood panel results being a bit poor, like thyroid's in the bin after dropping 44 pounds, test is in the fucking gutter. It's as if I've done a full prep. So I think the sooner I get those in check, the better. So we're reversing out today. I text myself yesterday. Of course, I self-coach, so I text myself my check-in, my visuals. Said if 175 flat gets hit, then we pull the phase and we get back to growing. So that's the case today. So very exciting one today, actually. We're in for legs. We've got a new rotation. Some old woman just pulled up beside me. Why not park just behind me? Weird. New rotation on legs, but a new split going down from Monday on. We are running upper lower, rest, full body, rest, full body. Four times a week training, 3 times per week frequency, and I'm so excited for it. My training intensity and just enjoyment ramped up so much the last few months of my gaining phase when I was running the full body setup, because I was talking to Matt Agerton about it, Megatron, if you're not familiar with him, and it actually, I forgot how funny it was. I would load up like over 11 plates on the pivot, then 2 exercises later hinge the 100 kilo dumbbells, then do a full upper session, and that shit builds tissue when you recover from it. So dying to get in for that. As for the off-season setup, or phase 3 of the off-season, because off-season's like your whole gaining phase, mini cut, them all bunched together under one title. This is a gaining phase, phase 3. We've had the first gaining phase, diet, and now this is gaining phase number 2, or phase 3 of this off-season. I'll give you the whole rundown later on. Plan of action today is to train legs. Off-season food shop, need some smoked salmon because that's going in as a rest day meal. I have to pick up sourdough from the local bakery, Arcade Coffee. If you have not tried them, go there. Almond croissants are unreal, but no almond croissant for me because we're keeping things tight this off-season. That's another thing I'm so excited to talk about, how I'm going to improve this off-season. Because I had 19 months gaining last time round. I have 50 weeks this time, I think. I want to gain the same amount of tissue in that amount of time, and I know I can do it by implementing some things. So going out for steps now, routine stays the same, always looking some fasted activity. Before meal 1, I've done posing, vacuums, now steps. Get that blood sugar down a little bit so we're not getting a huge blood glucose spike when carbs go in meal 1 here, because I am getting carbs in this meal 1 because I believe I'm doing 4 meals today, and since I'm only out of a deficit, getting 2 carb dense meals in before training will be noticeable. Can also inject my L-carnitine pre-workout, which is fucking brilliant. I don't have to do it fasted for the fat loss purposes. But yeah, gonna head out for some steps here. It's absolutely Baltic. Serious stepper podcast on. Shout out Ed and Drew if either of you are watching. And yeah, excited to take you along with me for the day. Yes, boys, have not documented too much this day, so I don't know how I'm going to organise a video out of it. But yeah, day 1 of the reversal. Done the food shop, picked up the sourdough, got to see all the goodies, the pastries. I might be able to stick a photo up of the goodies, but Nah, none for me. You know, got next week, next Saturday will be the first off plan item of food I'll be having an almond croissant. Like Darren is heading over to Australia for God knows however long. So lifestyle loops meet up in Laurel Vale. That'll be good. You know, it'll be pre-workout as well, so I'll be putting the food to good use. We've got double espresso, almond croissant in for legs. How could you really go wrong with that? But yeah, today's leg session was immense. I could probably overlay some clips. If I run you through some of them, we had the. This is a new rotation for me, so was finding training to be a bit laborious in the leg department. That's why I've got the new rotation in warehouse on a Tuesday. But this rotation, obviously, I'm changing splits for Monday, so it's not gonna last very long. But we had the hammer strength leg press and the return of my like just sort of stupid range of motion hinge pattern. So it's sort of stiff leg because I'm not using any glute drive, but realistically, or glute drive, quad drive, but realistically, it's not a stiff leg. There's nothing about it stiff. I'm getting a lot of posterior chain from that movement. Like I come off it and my glutes are smoked, but you know the pulls that I do on a Tuesday with the horizontal back, the parallel to the floor back positioning are probably more productive when we think of hypertrophy. So these are just in for a bit of fun because yeah, I was finding leg training a bit laborious because I wasn't using movements that suited me. Like the Cybex hack just doesn't. The Mark One suits me. The Mark Two does not suit me whatsoever. I have to consciously tell myself where to go down to, when to drive up, and it's just not a nice experience. I don't like the headrest where it points your head forward. I think it's just a bad piece of kit, to be honest. The Cybex hack Mark One is a work of art, though that suits me so much better. And then on my other old leg rotation was the Arsenal pendulum, which I just found really difficult to hold on to numbers with in the diet phase. Like I dropped reps out of every movement I've in the whole diet. That was probably the one that took the biggest hit. Like I would probably be lucky to match. I didn't really progress that movement through the diet at all, and I've came down to that's just the nature of these movements with a really harsh sticking point in a diet. You know, you don't have that like glycogen availability to grind through reps. So once you hit like the real struggle of that mid range of the pendulum, you're probably just gonna feel the rep. In my opinion, uh, same with like a lot of squat patterns, like the Cybex hack, while not as much so the sticky resistance profile as the pendulum, but it's still there to a degree, and like your reps can be moving smoothly, but then you can feel it in the set. Like I'm gonna go. I'm just gonna lose this next rep, or maybe it hits you out of the blue, and that's you buried. And you know, once you get buried on a squat pattern, that ruins momentum going into your next movements because you've took your muscles to failure. We don't want to go to that place. We want to take a set to 0 reps in reserve. So you didn't try that last rep that you would have failed. You finish the set with a full contractile range rep, and that's where you sort of maximize the fatigue to stimulus cost of a rep, in my opinion, or of a set, I should say. Any further than that, you've fucked it. You're going too fatigued, and then maybe you could argue 1 to 2 reps in reserve may prove more beneficial, but if we include enjoyment of it in that scenario or equation, everyone wants to be taking their sets to failure. You know, you don't want to be known as the guy that leaves reps in the tank. I feel like everyone wants to be proud of how hard they can train, and that's why we don't really see too many guys that sort of promote the reps and reserve training, even though it might be more beneficial, which I totally understand how it could be. But yeah, rambled on enough. I have to upload on Instagram. I have a new starter program to go out, so need to make the nutrition training program and just everything, get the plan set up for getting set up on. I'll send the setup video tomorrow, and have them up and running from Monday, starting making progress, baby. So another addition to the team coming out of the dock one, actually, which is nice, you know, having a client in your own gym. Pretty epic. So plan is do that setup, post on Instagram, and one more meal to go in, which I will show you guys because it is quite a fun meal. It's cream of rice.
Phenomenal missionary guys. Fitness in Martin is crazy. And Martin's a defending champ as well, correct?
Final clip for the YouTube, 8:30 p.m, and we're basically signing off for the day. I've got the Prague Pro stream in front of me. Early predictions, we've got Samson, Martin, Crizzo, then Keon. I think Crizzo takes Keon simply because what's Crizzo on stage? At least 280. You don't look at 70 pounds of difference in bodybuilders and just skim past that. Like it's going to expose Keon on stage. I think that stage weight, especially with the commentators saying that he's the same weight as he was at the Olympia. Like I thought he would have sized up. He weighed in 211.9, so he made his 212 cap by 0.1, but he stayed the same weight apparently. Well, according to AJ Kelly Robert, what a guy, by the way. I love listening to his voice, just him speaking about bodybuilding. But yeah, you'll have seen my cream of rice meal last clip. That went in, that was 100 grams cream of rice, 100 grams banana, 100 berries, 20 dark chocolate, 100% dark chocolate. In fact, I've moved over. What else was in that meal? There was 140 grams raw weight chicken breast on the side, nutmeg and cinnamon on the cream of rice, and pretty full up, to be fair. That's a big meal. That is usually my pre-workout meal, but just with how the day went, that was final meal because I was able to get 2 similar carb meals in before training. And you know, it might sound weird that I'm not putting my highest carb meal before training, but I got a very good session because meals 1 and 2 were full of carbs. But yeah, excited to get growing again. That's day 1 of being back in the grow bag. Who do we have? Oh, we've got Martin coming out. I'll get this on cam. Hopefully the walker is not too loud, but yeah, Martin looks good, man. His glutes are just so sharp for how bubbly. Is that even Martin? Fuck, it is. The blue light blockers put off my vision no matter what. Yeah, you can tell it's Martin because of the side chest, the way he puts his like hands or arms. Yeah, back in the grow bag, day 1 complete. And what I wanted to sort of talk about while I'd done these steps is just how excited I am to rectify things I done wrong in my last gaining phase. You know, I was speaking about it barely, or just like roughly, on the Instagram, but like so many mistakes I made in my last gaining phase that probably just took away from my runway. You know, yes, I pushed up my body weight 55 pounds, but I could have made that 55 more quality, maybe squeezed out a few more To be fair, I wouldn't have wanted to get heavier, but I could have maybe capped it out before that. I could have slowed my rate of gain, not gained as much weight, and in turn had a more productive and effective diet, which I just got out of, because I maybe wouldn't have had to pull off as much body weight. And then maybe, you know, that leads to not having to push as hard, and testosterone stays in a good range, because we didn't benefit from that anyway. That's in the bin, so we're sort of in a health phase. But nah, I'm sure it'll rise once food's up, expenditure's down, just cortisol dropping off. The test will start to come back into range, especially as just body fat comes up, because you know, I did get pretty lean in this diet. Glutes, hams are getting relatively dug out, nothing crazy, nothing stage condition, but you know, for a mini cut, I don't think many guys take it that far, you know, dropping 44 pounds. Hopefully we see the physique sharpen up a little, maybe drop off a bit more body weight as we get these first initial bumps in food, as we just freshen up the physique, drop off any inflammation that may be present. But yeah, like some of the things that I like fucked last off season, and the main things I want to rectify is just like, I don't blame myself, because I was far less educated than I am now, and you know, I was coming from an extremely food focused environment, but like stuff like wasting calories, which then turned into wasting runway of weight gain. So obviously you get body fat. Body fat comes as, it's part and parcel of weight gain in a surplus. Like milk in my coffees, there's no need. I prefer black coffee, but I was just having milk in it to sort of say to myself, like, I can have milk. Holidays and like social occasions, week-long holidays in like Spain, I don't even really like them, but I would go and then fuck, you know, a week of gaining weight, maybe 2 pounds a holiday, and that adds up. When you're doing that 2-3 times across an off season, that'll add up to what you have to pull off. The body fat, the useless body fat, the not necessary body fat that's not being productive towards building muscle. Just little things like that. I think really honing down on what I value as a social occasion, or what warrants eating off plan, is something I'm going to consider massively this next push up. Like the likes of a wedding or something, if I'm probably not going to go, but if I do go, you know, I'll be trying to prep my meals. That'll be my clause for going. Certain meals out with friends, or like meeting up with a coffee, maybe I don't need to have a tray bake or a pastry, just have the coffee, stay on plan that extra week. You know, I've got Prague coming up at the start of December, the 6th to the 8th of December, so 2 days there, and then 2 weeks solo travel in Japan in the middle of February. So yes, you can have a weekly off plan and, you know, get away with it. It can have like relatively little to no impact on your gaining phase, but I think there is some merit in saying someone that has half the amount of off plans going into this Japan trip is what I'm thinking about. I want to save the off plan occasions and build up. If you think you get a token for every off plan, I want to save that token like on a lot of weeks, and then use them up in Japan, because this is what I was saying, you can have the off plan meal and it not really affect your gaining phase, but there's the merit in saying that someone say I had an off-plan meal every single week leading up to Japan, and then ate the way I want to in Japan, because the food's going to be incredible. It will be a full 2 weeks of eating some good food. I don't think the person that's eating off plan every week leading up to that will get as good of an outcome as the person who saves the off plans for this like 2 weeks away. That's just the way I'm thinking about it. This off season, it's going to be a lot more militant, I think, than the last, and I made a lot of progress in my last push-up, but that's because it was so long and I just treated training like I can't fathom missing a session. But now everything going forward is going to be just that bit more dialed in, because I need it. I need to build the same amount of tissue in half the time. You know, we're comparing a 19-month surplus to a 50-week surplus, so it's a fraction of the time, but the tissue I need to before pre-prep and to build in this push-up is massive if I want to bring something I'm proud of to the stage in 2027. So gonna leave that video there. If you did get this far, thank you for watching. This last clip has been very long, and I hope the walker isn't too loud in the background. I've got the mic on, so hopefully it's majorly just picking up my voice. But yeah, drop a like. I'm pretty breathless on this walker, 5.2 kilometers an hour. Drop a like, comment, subscribe, all that jazz, lads. And I was going to say see you for episode 2 of the growing series, but I need to figure out a name, so for now I'll just leave you. Good night.